Hello students, how are you all? Welcome to online classes. I hope you are fine and doing good. In the last session, we have started molar conductance of an electrolyte, limiting molar conductance. Molar conductance is defined as the conductance of V volume of 1 mole of electrolyte is called molar conductance. Formula given in centimeters and meters as per SI unit as well as a CGS unit, and few problems also we have discussed. After that we have discussed how to vary specific conductance K with the dilution and concentration, and how to vary molar conductance for strong electrolytes and weak electrolytes with the dilution condition and concentration condition. In this session, I am going to discuss the next topic called Kohlrausch law. After that, applications and few batteries I am going to discuss. Now, Kohlrausch law. So, Kohlrausch is the scientist. He examined many strong electrolytes and their molar conductance at infinite dilution or zero concentration, that is indicated as a lambda m naught. By that he gave a law called Kohlrausch law. First, what he examined, we will discuss. So, he examined the halides of sodium and potassium, like sodium chloride, sodium bromide, sodium iodide, potassium chloride, potassium bromide, potassium iodide, and their molar conductance at infinite dilution, that is called limiting molar conductance. By that he concluded that there is a law for molar conductance of an electrolyte. So, now we will start this topic. Kohlrausch examined many strong electrolytes, lambda m naught values, lambda m naught, limiting molar conductance at infinite dilution. Okay. So, that is equal to lambda m naught of KCl minus lambda m naught of NaCl, it is equal to lambda m naught of KBr minus lambda m naught of NaBr. It is also equal to lambda m naught of Ki minus lambda m naught of Nai. He studied these three. It means limiting molar conductance, okay, limiting molar conductance of KCl value minus NaCl, that is equal to limiting molar conductance of KBr value minus NaBr. Limiting molar conductance of Ki minus Nai will be almost same, that is 23.4 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Getting? He observed like that. Next, after that, one more NaBr and NaCl. Lambda m naught of NaBr minus lambda m naught of NaCl, that is equal to lambda m naught of KBr minus lambda m naught of KCl. The value will be 1.8 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay. It means you just observe clearly, it is plus Na and it is minus Na will be cancelled. Br minus Cl, limiting molar conductance of Br and limiting molar conductance of Cl, that subtraction will be 1.8. Here also K plus it is minus K, plus K and minus K will be cancelled, Br minus minus Cl minus, the value will be almost close. Getting all of you? So, by these observations, what he given a statement. By these observations, he stated that the limiting molar conductance of an electrolyte can be expressed as their individual contributions of cation and anion, right? Statement. The limiting molar conductance of an electrolyte can be expressed as the sum of the individual contributions, the sum of the individual contributions of cation and anion. This is what a statement given, students. Now, cation and anion in electrolyte. We can also state it as, this one will be stated in a different way. The limiting molar conductance of an electrolyte is equals to algebraic sum of limiting molar conductances of cation and anion in electrolyte solution. Limiting molar conductance means the conductance of electrolyte at zero concentration or infinite dilution. Molar conductance means the conductance of 1 mole of electrolyte, something concentration is there, but limiting means zero concentration, that is the difference. For example, lambda m naught of an electrolyte, it is equal to lambda naught of cation plus lambda naught of anion, it is cation and anion. Example here is lambda m naught, limiting molar conductance of NaCl electrolyte is equal to lambda naught of Na plus lambda naught of Cl minus. Okay. Lambda m naught is equal to limiting molar conductance of NaCl. Lambda naught Na plus is equal to limiting molar conductance of cation, that is Na plus cation, and lambda naught Cl minus is equal to limiting molar conductance of Cl minus, that is anion. It means the limiting molar conductance of an electrolyte is equal to sum of the limiting molar conductance of cation and anion. It can be also written as lambda naught m naught of NaCl is equal to nu naught plus lambda naught Na plus nu naught minus lambda naught Cl minus, where lambda naught Na plus is limiting molar conductance of cation, Lambda naught Cl minus is the limiting molar conductance of anion and it is limiting molar conductance of an electrolyte NaCl. Then this is nu naught plus and nu naught minus are number of cations, and number of anions. Getting here? For example, NaCl if you take 1 Na and 1 Cl, nu naught plus 1, nu naught minus 1. MgCl2 if you take, so Mg will be 1, Cls will be 2. You can write in a different way, students, that is, so lambda m naught of MgCl2 it is equal to lambda naught, here nu plus cation is equal to 1, Mg plus 2 it is. Next plus anions are 2, nu naught minus equal to 2, anions 2. This is nu minus number of anions equal to 2. That's why 2 into what is that? Lambda naught of Cl minus. It means limiting molar conductance of MgCl2 is equal to sum of the limiting molar conductance of 1 Mg plus 2 and 2 Cl minus ions. So by this he gave a statement. So those experimental conditions giving this kind of statement and expression. Okay, students, Kohlrausch studied the limiting molar conductance of ions. When you added positive ion and negative ion, then you will get a limiting molar conductance of electrolyte. Limiting molar conductance means molar conductance at 0 concentration. For cations, ion it is H plus ion 349.6 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium given. And for few anions, hydroxide ion, chloride ion, bromide ion, acetate ion indicated as AC, simply indicated as AC, and sulfate ion, for them the values are, it means ionic conductance at infinite dilutions. So based on that they gave few questions, students. The question is, calculate the molar conductance of, question number 1. It is your textual exemplar question. Calculate limiting molar conductance of CaCl2 and MgSO4 by using the table, by using this table form. Okay, limiting molar conductance. It is question number 3.7, solved question it is. Okay. So solution for this question, students, solution is limiting molar conductance of CaCl2 is equal to, so nu plus means cation number 1 Ca plus 2, that's why 1 Ca plus 2 limiting molar conductance plus 2 Cls, nu minus equal to 2 lambda naught of Cl minus. Okay. Then Ca plus 2, calcium will be 119, it is 119 plus 2 into Cl minus will be totally 76.3 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. For both this one and this one, units are Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Very easy. In exam they will provide you calcium and chloride ions conductivity, you just solve this. So by solving this, 271.6 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. It is for CaCl2. Next one is lambda m naught of MgSO4. It means 1 Mg and 1 SO4 only present here. Nu plus equal to 1 Mg, nu minus equal to 1. Then we will get 1 lambda naught mg plus 2 plus 1 lambda naught SO4 minus 2. For mg plus 2 the value is 106, it is the value is 106 plus SO4 160, it is 160 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay students, then by solving this 266 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse is your answer. Very easy questions. In exam they will provide you ions conductance. Okay, next, after this, degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation. Kohlrausch has given a formula for degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation is also called alpha. It is the ratio between the molar conductance at a given concentration or molar conductance at infinite dilution. That is called degree of dissociation, right? It is the ratio between lambda m and lambda m naught. Molar conductance at a particular concentration, molar conductance at 0 concentration. Alpha equal to lambda m by lambda m naught. This is molar conductance at particular concentration. This is molar conductance at 0 concentration. Very, very important. Lambda naught, we know already. Similarly, as we know that in the first year course, equilibrium constant for weak electrolytes like acetic acid. As we know that Ka for weak electrolytes as per your first year chemistry, Ka is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. It is the formula taken from equilibrium chapter in the first year course. Yes, it is Ka. Okay. Alpha equal to this one. Substitute alpha value in Ka formula. Then Ka is equal to C into alpha means lambda m by lambda m naught square by 1 minus alpha means lambda m by lambda m naught. Okay students, it will be simplified as lambda m into lambda m square, it is lambda m naught into lambda m naught, lambda m by lambda m naught whole square. I expanded this one by 1 minus, it becomes lambda m naught minus lambda m by what is that, lambda m naught. Getting students? This will be lambda m minus lambda m by lambda m naught. This lambda m naught and 1 lambda m naught will be cancelled. Nothing will be cancelled. Finally, the formula is Ka is equal to C into lambda m square. It is by lambda m naught left here in the denominator, lambda m naught minus lambda m. It is. This is Ka value. Once you know the Ka value, you can find, once you know the alpha value, you can find the Ka value. Right students? Now applications of Kohlrausch law. What are the uses of Kohlrausch law? Nothing but Kohlrausch law of independent migrations. The full form is Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions. Migration of ions. It means to know the NaCl limiting molar conductance, you should know the Na plus and Cl minus conductance independently. That's why independent migration applications. First of all, by this you can measure the lambda m naught, limiting molar conductance at infinite dilution. Next one, Ka value you can find. Next one, alpha value you can find. Next one, with the help of this law you can find the limiting molar conductance of weak electrolyte with the help of limiting molar conductances of strong electrolytes. These are the points I am going to write on the board, students. Okay, these are the points, students. It is possible to calculate the limiting molar conductance of electrolyte by using individual molar conductances. And for weak electrolytes, we can easily calculate the Ka value, acid dissociation constant, like acetic acid, Ka value, how much we can determine by using lambda m and lambda m naught. Next, alpha can be calculated, degree of dissociation, lambda m by lambda m naught. Next, we can measure the lambda m naught for weak electrolytes by using lambda m naught of strong electrolytes. For this example, I am discussing, students. That example is lambda m naught of CH3COONA, it is equal to lambda m naught of CH3COOH plus lambda m naught of HCl minus lambda m naught of NaCl. These three are the electrolytes. These are the electrolytes. Their limiting molar conductance known, but I don't know the limiting molar conductance of CH3COOH. It is CH3COOH, CH3COONA. It is. I don't know the limiting molar conductance of acetic acid, but I know the sodium acetate, HCl and NaCl limiting molar conductance. By these I can measure this limiting molar conductance. How it is possible? This means limiting molar conductance means cationic and anionic conductance. In this CH3COO minus cation, Na plus anion, then lambda naught of CH3COO minus plus lambda naught of Na plus. This is equal to this one, as we discussed. NaCl is equal to lambda naught of Na plus and lambda naught of Cl minus. Similarly here also, and plus it is. This will be lambda naught of H plus plus lambda naught of Cl minus. Getting all of you? This means HCl means limiting molar conductance of HCl is equal to sum of the limiting molar conductance of H plus and Cl minus, that is Kohlrausch law. Minus it is, the sign is minus. Then this becomes lambda naught of Na plus plus lambda naught of Cl minus. It means NaCl limiting molar conductance is equal to sum of the algebraic sum of the Na plus and Cl minus limiting molar conductance. So now it is minus, actually minus into plus, it becomes minus again. Then finally this will be considered as, okay, it is also minus, students, minus Na plus minus Cl minus, then plus Na plus and minus Na plus will be cancelled. So plus Cl minus and minus Cl minus will be cancelled. What is left, students? Lambda naught of CH3COO minus plus these two only left remaining are cancelled. So lambda naught of H plus. It means that is lambda naught of acetic acid. Limiting molar conductance of CH3COOH is equal to algebraic sum of the CH3COO minus and H plus ion conductances. Understood? This first step is very, very important. I know these three values, but I want the first one value. To get that first one, so these two will be added and the rest will be subtracted. That expression is important. Problem, students. Question, your textual question. That is, limiting molar conductance of NaCl, next one HCl and CH3COONA are, the values are 126.4, 126.4, 464, 425.9, 425.9, 25.9 and CH3COONA value is 91.0 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse, right? Calculate lambda m naught of CH3COOH. Very important this question, textbook question. They are expecting the lambda m naught of CH3COOH and CH3COONA, HCl and NaCl values given in the question. You should know whether addition between two or subtraction between another one. Which one must be added, which one must be subtracted. That relation is required for us. So, to get this lambda m naught of acetic acid, already written, lambda m naught of acetic acid is equal to, this is the relation already written, lambda m naught of CH3COOH plus lambda m naught of HCl minus lambda m naught of NaCl. It means acetic acid and HCl values are added and HCl and NaCl values will be subtracted. Then only we will get acetate ion and H plus ion. That indicates limiting molar conductance of acetic acid. By that only, as it is. The values are already given, students. Acetate value will be, this acetate value last one will be 91.0 plus HCl value will be, HCl is the second one, the second value is 425.9, it is minus. NaCl value is the first value, that is 126.4 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Getting it is Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay. By solving this, you will get 390.5. 390.5 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Answer. Very important 2 marks question it is. Right, students? And we will solve few questions, textbook questions on conductance topic now. I will write the problems and we will discuss problems now. Students, I have written 3 problems on the board. We will discuss, I will get clarity on this topic now. First problem, the conductivity of certain concentration of acetic acid is given. Calculate Ka. They gave lambda m naught of acetic acid. So, first of all we should know Ka value. Ka means C alpha square by 1 minus alpha formula. To get Ka, alpha required. Alpha means lambda m by lambda m naught, right? Ka required for us. Ka is equal to C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. It is formula number 1. Alpha also required here. To get alpha, alpha equal to lambda m by lambda m naught. It is the second expression, students. To get alpha, already lambda m naught given, that is 390.5. It is taken as third one. Lambda m is required for us. Then it will be substituted in alpha. Alpha will be substituted in Ka. Finally, you will get a Ka value. Then lambda m formula you know already, that is equal to K into 1000 centimeter cube per liter, if you take in centimeters, by concentration mole per liter, we know already. Substitute lambda m equal to conductivity nothing but K given indirectly. K equal to, that is 4.95 into 10 to the power of minus 5 Siemens centimeter inverse into 1000 centimeter cube per liter by concentration is 0.001028 mole per liter. It is concentration. This is K given, students, like this. Okay. So per liter, centimeter converted into centimeter square. Then finally lambda m is equal to, the value of lambda m is 48.15. It is 48.15 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay. This is taken as 4. 3 and 4 will be substituted in 2 alpha. 3 and 4 will be substituted in 2. Okay. Then we will get alpha equal to, lambda m value is this one 48.15 by lambda m naught value is 390.5 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Here also Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. No units for which one, that is, students? Alpha. Then alpha value is, if you solved this, the value will be 0.1233. 0.1233 it is. This will be taken as 5. Okay, 5 it is. 5 will be substituted in 1. 5 will be substituted in 1. Then Ka is equal to, what is C? Concentration is C, 0.0108, 0.001028 mole per liter concentration, students, minus, C into, it is a C into alpha. Alpha is this one, 0.1233 square it is. 0.1233 square it is. Next, by 1 minus alpha, 0.1233. By solving this, you will get the answer finally 1.78. Answer is 1.78 into 10 to the power of minus 5 mole per liter. This is the answer for which one, students? Ka value. Getting all of you? I think this one also same question. Third question also. Conductivity means this is K value given, as it is K value given. It is K. Concentration is C given, it is. And we need Ka value. Lambda m naught also given, students. We want Ka. To get a Ka, alpha required. To get alpha, lambda m required. To get lambda m, K value and concentration. Lambda m equal to K into 1000 by C means concentration. K means 7.896 into 10 to the power of minus 5 into 1000 centimeter cube per liter by concentration is 0.0241 mole per liter. Molarity means mole per liter, m means. You will get a lambda m value. Lambda m naught is 390. Lambda m value by lambda m naught, you will get alpha value. Alpha value will be substituted in a Ka formula. Ka formula is, that is C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Solve the third problem like a first problem, students. Textbook only it is. Next, second problem, observe all of you carefully. 3.9 it is. Problem number 2 it is. Check it. Okay. .9 it is. We need Ka. Ka means C alpha square by 1 minus alpha. Take it as 1. To know the Ka, alpha is required for us. Alpha is equal to lambda m by lambda m naught. This is taken as second expression. Okay. Then lambda m naught we don't know. Then lambda m given already. Lambda m is equal to lambda m equal to 46.1 it is. 46.1 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Taken as 3. Concentration C is equal to 0.025 mole per liter. Already it is 4. Okay, students. Next, after that, lambda m naught is required for us. Lambda m naught of methanoic acid, formula is HCOOH. It is equal to lambda m naught of HCOO minus plus lambda naught of H plus, as per Kohlrausch. Then HCOO minus value is 54.6 plus 349.6. If you solve this, you will get the value here 404.2 it is. It will be 404.2 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Okay, because Siemens centimeter square mole inverse only given. Then I am getting here lambda m naught of HCOOH, that is a formic acid. This will be taken as 5, give numbering. Lambda m naught will be substituted in alpha value. It means 3 and 5 will be substituted in 3 and 5 will be substituted in 2 it is. Then alpha equal to lambda m value is 46.1. Lambda m naught value just now calculated 404 Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Siemens centimeter square mole inverse. Getting? So units will be cancelled completely here. Then the value will be finally 0.114 it is. 0.114. No units. Oh, this is alpha value. Alpha value will be 6. Ka, to get Ka, C and alpha required. C means concentration 4th one and alpha will be 6th one. 4 and here writing 4 and 6 will be substituted in 1. Ka is equal to, concentration is 0.025 mole per liter into alpha means that is 0.114 square it is by 0.114 square by 1 minus alpha 0.114. You just solve it, you will get the answer. On solving, the answer will be 3.67 into 10 to the power of minus 4. 3.67 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Units left are mole per liter. It is the Ka value. They are expecting Ka value and alpha value for this question. And this 3.11, it means 3.11. It is given in exercise. You solve, it's just like as a 3.9 in the exemplar questions. These are the problems, students. With this conductance, molar conductance topics completed, and you have to verify and you have to solve the rest of the problems which are given at the end of this chapter. So now I am going to discuss the last topic left in this is Faraday's laws. They didn't give Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law, and problems they deleted from our board syllabus. So that's why I am not discussing. And now I am going to discuss batteries. Batteries means nowadays we are using torch batteries, mobile batteries, hand watch batteries, camera batteries, calculator batteries. Getting all of you? Nippon batteries, remote batteries. So these are all galvanic cells only. Batteries are nothing but galvanic cells in which chemical energy converted into electrical energy. By that chemicals energy, electrical energy produced, by that energy, so we can use. Getting all of you? Yes, batteries are galvanic cell in which chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. So why batteries we are using? What is the reason for that? Batteries are compact, it means very small in size, and lighter, very light, and there is no variation in the voltage while using batteries. Okay. Next point is batteries also called cells. These are classified into two types. One is primary batteries, secondary batteries. Primary cells, secondary cells. First one is primary cells. Primary cells nothing but torch batteries, hand watch batteries, iPad batteries, it means hearing aids, hearing operators, nothing but. These batteries are primary cells. If you observe a torch battery or a remote battery, after discharging, there is no reusing of that battery. You have to throw it and you should buy a new battery and put it. Is it right? It means there is no reusing for primary batteries. After completion of cell reaction, the cell will be stopped, there is no reusing. Need to use a new battery. That is a drawback of this. There are two examples given. One is a dry cell, another one is a mercury cell. Dry cell is deleted from our syllabus. Getting all of you? I will write all these points now. So these are the points actually. Primary cells, there is no reusing. After cell reaction, cell becomes dead. So there is no reusing. That's what batteries are actually a source of electrical energy. So it means galvanic cells, these are all. Batteries all are galvanic cells in which chemical energy converted into electrical energy by spontaneous redox reaction. We read already. So for practical purpose, battery must be light, battery must be compact, battery in which the voltage should not be varied. Condition it is. Two types of batteries, primary batteries and secondary batteries. Primary batteries, after using cell becomes dead. If cell becomes dead, there is no reusing. It means there is no reusing after completion of a cell reaction. There are two examples given for primary cells in the earlier syllabus, previous year syllabus, dry cell and mercury cell. Dry cell removed from your deleted syllabus and only one cell retained is mercury cell. Mercury cell is also called as a button cell, like shut button. It is just like as a shut button. If you observe a hand watch, just open it inside a battery, that is just like as a tablet, nothing but a button. It's like as a button. That's why it is called as a button cell. You can observe those cells also, students. If you open that, in which cathode is there, anode is there, and a few chemicals are there in the form of a powder. Those chemicals are electrolytes, two rods are there, those are cathode and anode. You just observe, it is just like as a button cell. So it is used in low current devices, it means low electrical energy is needed for something work. In that we can use this. So hearing aids like iPods, hand watches, in which we can use. So in that, if you open a zinc mercury rod, it means zinc amalgam is acting as anode, and a paste of mercury oxide and carbon rod, it is inert rod, carbon rod, graphite nothing but, acting as a cathode. A paste of KOH and ZnO, potassium hydroxide and zinc oxide, used as an electrolyte. When you opened it, you can observe all these chemicals. So at anode, oxidation always taking place, at cathode, reduction always taking place in galvanic cells. At anode, the zinc anode undergoes oxidation with OH minus ions produced by an electrolyte KOH. OH minus having one extra electron, minus 1 means one extra electron. 2 OH minus means 2 extra electrons, right? So these 2 electrons are lost, that is called oxidation. Zn becomes ZnO, 2 OH becomes H2O. And those lost electrons are gained by cathode. The cathode is mercuric paste, HgO. Gain those 2 electrons with the help of water, becomes Hg and 2OH minus. You can write net cell reaction also. Identical species on left side and right side will be cancelled. 2 electrons on left and right will be cancelled. 2OH minus and 2OH minus left and right will be cancelled. 1H2O, 1H2O left and right will be cancelled. Finally, left side Zn and HGO left. Right side ZnO and Hg will be left. It is the net cell reaction of a button cell, a mercury cell, right? So the current generated in this cell is 1.35 volts. The cell potential is 1.35 volts. With this least energy, the watch will work, the iPod will be work, whatever the apparatus that is. This is a primary cell. Coming to the secondary cells. In primary cell, after a cell reaction, there is no reusage. But in secondary cells, there is a reusage after the cell reaction also. Automobile batteries, if you observe a lead batteries, we can observe a big lead batteries. If it is discharged, you should give it to the battery shop person and he will charge it and finally we can use. It means the cell in which discharging as well as charging, both phenomena are there. So such cells are called secondary cells. There is a reusage after cell reaction also, charging and discharging phenomenon is taking place. In that two cells are there, one is a lead accumulator, lead battery, another one is a nickel cadmium battery. Lead battery is removed from the syllabus, nickel cadmium battery only left. We will write all these points now. The next is the secondary cells. Secondary cells, there is a reusage, charging and discharging, both phenomena are there. A good secondary cell has a large number of good charging and discharging cycles. Yes, those are the points. It can be reused, charging and discharging is there. A good secondary cell can undergo large number of charging and discharging cycles, then only acting as a efficient secondary cell. So examples are, one is a lead storage battery not given in the syllabus, nickel cadmium battery only given in the syllabus. Nickel cadmium battery, it is also called alkaline storage battery. It is a costlier one, expensive one, because the cadmium and nickel is a very costlier. So that's why it is very costlier one. So then it has a longer life than lead storage battery, more expensive because cadmium is more expensive. Used in calculators, cameras, cell phones and photography. Nowadays we are using cell phone battery. Getting all of you? Yes. Anode is cadmium. Cathode is, if you open that, there is a cadmium acting as anode. Nickel metal coated with outside is NiO2, that is acting as cathode. The powder present in that is a KOH powder acting as an electrolyte. So at anode always oxidation is taking place. The electrolyte KOH decomposed into K plus and OH minus ions. The OH minus ion contact with the anode losing 2 electrons, that is called oxidation taking place at anode. 2 OH minus, 2 extra electrons are there. Those 2 electrons lost at anode, that is called oxidation. Then forms CDO, H2O and 2 electrons. Afterwards, the cathode is NiO2 that gains the electrons which are lost at anode. Then reduction taking place by gaining electrons becomes NaOH twice and 2OH minus. The net cell reaction is identical 2 electrons and 2 electrons left and right will be cancelled. 1 H2O is there here, this will be cancelled, 1 H2O left it is. Okay, 1 H2O. Among 2, 1 will be cancelled. 2OH and 2OH will be cancelled. Then what is left, students? CD plus NiO2 plus 1 H2O left here gives rise to NiOH thrice plus CDO. Like this you can write. In your textbook they gave in a different way. They didn't give these reactions in the textbook, only simple description given. I am giving these reactions also. So CD plus 2 NiOH thrice gives rise to 2 NiOH twice plus, okay, it is CdO plus H2O will be removed. So, you can write like this also, students. First one is also correct, even second one also correct in a different way, that is, okay, NiOH twice plus H2O. This is your textbook, they didn't give like this in the textbook, okay. The voltage, the cell potential generated in this is the cell potential, it means the voltage generated, the current generated is 1.4 volts, okay, 4 volts. You can ask me a question, it is 1.4 volts only, very less, how is this possible? After charging 1.4 volts of energy generated, so then you can use that 1.4 volts of energy, finally you can charge it again, then generates again 1.4 volts. While using, discharging takes place. After discharging, you have to keep it charging, again using, discharge, keep it charging, charging, discharging, charging, discharging. This will be happen directly, okay, students. So, from this topic they removed Faraday's laws, first law, second law problems. Next one is corrosion removed, fuel cells removed, and primary cells, dry cell removed, secondary cells, lead storage battery removed. The rest of the topics I have discussed clearly. I hope you understood. You guys are following very well, and ask questions in our group also if you have any doubts, and write notes sincerely, because it is one of the important chapters. Understood? So, with this topic electrochemistry completed, we will continue with next chapter in our next session.